And welcome to episode 71 of the TechnoBuffalo Show. I'm one of your two hosts for today, Sean Ani, editor-in-chief of the site, and I'm joined by deputy managing editor Todd Hazelton.
Hey, everybody.
How are you doing today, Todd?
I'm good.
I'll just warn everyone right now, in case I cough, I'm sorry, I'm still getting over a sinus infection. But it's calmed way down, thankfully. So we are in the holiday season, and by the way, that's why we missed last week. I was coughing way too much, and nobody wanted to hear that. So we are in the middle of the holiday season, which means it's our quiet time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to catch up a little bit on what's going on in the world, because there's actually not a whole lot of news because we're in this holding pattern for CES in a couple weeks, which I can't believe CES is this close. I am so not ready for CES.
Yeah. The best
I'm ready
time of year, the holidays, and then CES, the worst time of the year.
Well, CES wouldn't be so bad if they would just, I know they want to do, the first, week of January and all that. Well, this year, that means we have to give up part of our New Year's weekend to jet off to Vegas. You, Jacob, and I arrive on Sunday.
Yeah.
And first thing Monday morning,
you get right to it.
Yeah, we get right to it. Although, and have you gotten any, folks, we're going to do a little housekeeping while we're right here on the show. Have you gotten any notices for anything on Monday yet?
Yeah, I have some meetings, pre-briefs and stuff like that. But, yeah, the big show that everybody's sort of going to want to start to tune in for is on Tuesday. That's press day, when all the press conferences are. And then throughout the rest of the week, we have meetings all the way through Friday.
Yeah. Remember the other day when we said, Thursday looks clear?
Yeah. And within 2 days, I think it just,
Thursday's now like a solid block of red on the Google Calendar.
Yeah, which is crazy. I remember when I was a lot younger and doing this for my first CESs and stuff right out of school, I would... I hadn't been, and I would book these meetings like with companies I'd never heard of. I didn't know how it worked, and I would book them like every 15, like back to back with no breaks. So I was running. I was in a lot better shape back then, but I was literally running from place to place. And then you get there, and of course, there's always stuff announced, and I couldn't even get to those things because I'd already had all these meetings booked from before. And so now it's funny. Thankfully, I've learned, and now as the show approaches, as we've seen the last couple of days, all these new meetings just start popping up. And that's, again, before we even get there. So you have to leave space on your calendar for things you don't even know about yet.
Yeah, that was a learning process for me when I was doing Toy Fair back in the 90s. Because the difference with Toy Fair, though, was, at least at that time, you did not get into a showroom if you did not have an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
The very first year I did Toy Fair, I'd had my first toy writing job for a week. And all but 2 companies let me in by me basically throwing myself on their mercy. And by the second year, I always had my schedule. Well, heck, I still do the schedules that I print out and hand to everybody. Mm-hmm. But by the second year, and then by the third year, I started leaving gaps, on this day for pickup appointments and everything else. Yeah, it's always a fun process. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so now onto the actual topics we said we were going to discuss. So we're in December, and we're already hearing our first iPhone rumors.
Yeah, which is crazy. I keep thinking, too, and maybe it's because it was a 6S year, but I keep feeling like an S year, I should say. I keep feeling like the iPhone 6S Plus that I have is like much older than it is. I keep forgetting I only got it like 2 months ago. September, October, November, December. It's 3 months ago.
Well, I think
to hear the first rumors now.
That's the rate, though, with which technology changes. Also, add in the fact the 6S Plus is exactly like the 6 Plus.
Right.
So mentally, your mind is still going, isn't this the same phone?
Yeah, isn't this like an older phone? But we have seen rumors now that I think the latest was today. It was following up on the rumors of this secret Taiwan facility that Apple has, where they're working on new screen technology. And I think the idea today was from Digitimes, and those reports sort of go back and forth. But the idea is that I guess Apple's trying to work on this micro LED technology. It's supposed to compete with OLED, which is their organic LED technology. So you get those really dark blacks and the pixels that I guess don't necessarily have to turn on. They don't need to. I don't really understand how that's going to differ, because to me that they sound the same. Maybe it's just not organic. It's micro, but I guess that can help create a thinner iPhone, or maybe just the thinner display, because we have to hope that Apple starts to focus on larger batteries with the space it's saving, instead of that ugly battery pack that it released, which is just crazy.
Years ago on my personal blog, I wrote up a story about right after the MacBook Air had been announced, and everything was getting thinner and thinner. I wrote up a joke post about the new iPad or new Apple Mac paper or something like that. I called it the something paper. And all I did was take a sheet of paper and I printed an Apple logo on it and took a picture of that. And I also talked about how it was going to come with this exciting new accessory called a pencil.
Yeah.
And so
now that's real.
Yeah, I know. I was ahead of the times. But just this obsession with getting thinner and thinner and thinner. There is a point where, everyone mocks me for having such a large case on my phone. I need something to be able to grab when I'm using it.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't understand. I'm not sure, but I feel like we've hit the point where it's thin enough, right? Why go thinner? What's the point? I mean, at what point does it matter how much more thin it is? Because I would say, let's get phones that have, if you can go thinner and just add the extra battery. So we have phones with 2 days of battery life, or 3 days, or, I don't know. But it just doesn't make sense to me to, and maybe that's the point though. And I think maybe some of the reports, the news reports that are sort of taking these rumors and seeing thinner display. And we also saw them ditching the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack for the iPhone 7 rumor. I think people are maybe looking at that and saying, because they want to build a thinner iPhone. And maybe it doesn't mean that. Maybe it just means that they need to save space for other things like the battery. So I don't know. Or more powerful processors, bigger cameras.
Well, now here's a question. You've used devices with USB Type-C already, correct?
Just the Lumia 950.
Okay. Is that connection, I've not had a chance to use anything with it yet. Is that connection any thinner than, say, micro USB or Lightning?
No.
And see, I think that's where they're going to start to run
almost exactly. It looks like a Lightning connector, actually.
And see, that's where they're going to start running into a problem. We already know they're running into a problem with the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Mm-hmm. Because we've seen the patent for the new type of headphone connector that is mind-boggling.
Right.
But so they are going to run into a point. It's kind of like they couldn't get laptops any thinner when they still had optical drives.
Right.
So, the optical drives left. Well, then they couldn't get any thinner because of the Ethernet ports. So they dumped the Ethernet ports and now make us buy that stupid dongle. At some point they're going to have to go, okay, we really cannot go any thinner because the device is going to become inconvenient to the user.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to see them ditch. I guess they could if they had like the Lightning port. We actually see those. They have the headphones there. I think they're like $800, the Lightning port headphones. Mm-hmm. So you could like ditch that or just go Bluetooth, which is fine. I still kind of like having it, but I know in a couple years it won't matter. But think about the other things. People are complaining about like the camera hump, right? Like as it is, it's just that little ring. But one of the things is with these advanced cameras, they're pretty thick, the modules. So that's going to be an inhibitor. And like there's all these other things. So maybe you still have that bump. And at the end of the day, like I said, like why isn't thin enough? Like this is okay. I don't need thinner, I guess, is my point.
I know. It's almost like phones are now being body shamed.
Yeah. You're too fat.
Yes. So we have a question here from Sachin Bahal. Do you think iPhone 7 will have a USB Type-C port? I think that is one of the big questions right now, because we know that Apple did, sign on with the Type-C movement, mm-hmm. but we have not seen them really embrace it yet.
Yeah, just with the MacBook.
Exactly.
Regular MacBook.
So,
Yeah, it seems plausible, and rumors have pointed to it. But they again, like they went 30 pin to Lightning, which was a pain in the butt for everybody. And now if they do this, I guess it's a pain in the butt, but it's also sort of the first time. Actually, it is the first time ever that Apple, talk about a Freudian slip, that Apple would have adopted a standardized port in its phone,
right, and
which is a good thing.
while it would initially be a pain in the butt, I think in the long run it would actually be beneficial to the consumer.
Yeah,
because you're going to have at some point, just like I have micro USB cables everywhere.
Right.
At some point, I will have USB Type-C cables everywhere.
Right. And yeah, it's just standard. You have it in your backpack. You don't have to worry about it. Everybody's got it at their house. And here we go. I have a Type-C cable right on my desk. It looks exactly. I'll hold it up. It looks exactly like almost.
It looks a lot like a Lightning.
Yeah.
Speaking of chargers and all that, you've been to England, so you know what their 3-prong electrical port looks like. So one day when I was over there in England, I was going out by train, and I thought, I'll take a charger with me, so I can charge on the train. And that has got to be the most inconvenient plug type in existence. Because you can't fold the teeth down at all, and it's this gigantic triangle. And sure enough, when I went to get off the train, I saw there was a woman that got off, and her shoulder bag was open. I just glanced down, and I could see, she too was carrying around a charger with this gigantic head on it. Somebody come up with a better charging system over there. Good grief.
Yeah, or just put USB ports everywhere, fast ones.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that would be way better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want everyone to have USB ports everywhere. But so the other thing we wanted to discuss today, and this is a little out of yours and my normal conversations, but the yesterday came out the news that Bungie was going to add these transactions to Destiny that would allow you to just go ahead and pay to have a new character, immediately put it level 25, all the subclasses maxed out and all that stuff. As someone that's been playing Destiny for a year, I'm done.
Yeah. We were talking yesterday. We both have different viewpoints, so we'll let you go with yours, and I'll I agree with you, by the way, but I also have my own.
Right. Well, the whole point is that getting up to level 25 was never that big of a grind, but grinding up the subclasses took forever. And so the idea now that someone can come along and just buy it for what was it, 45,
I think, and Jody said he found like you could just buy the upgrade for 35 technically if you wanted to.
Yeah, because the game, if you buy the Taken King, it comes with an upgrade. It was cheaper to buy the whole game than it was to buy the upgrade,
which is pretty funny,
which made me laugh. That just annoys me, as somebody that has put hours and hours and hours into this game. Now someone can just come along, plunk down money, and so basically Bungie has just told me that months of my time was worth $45.
Basically.
Yeah. So yes, I know you have some other opinions.
Yeah, because I played World of War a couple years ago. I played World of Warcraft, and I think I got to like level 42. Stopped playing, and at the time I worked for Laptop Magazine, and we would use my World of Warcraft account to benchmark computers. Okay, and we would run a script, like a legal script. It's fine. It's just like it would test the frame rates and stuff. But to do so, we had to use the I forget what they are, but it was the travel waypoints in the game, and you had to pay money for that. So we would buy gold to like continue, which is illegal. But it was just for testing these laptops. So we would buy gold in World of Warcraft. Unfortunately, on my account, it ends up getting banned, right? So I go on my honeymoon. I meet this guy, and he's like super into World of Warcraft, right? And we're like, okay, like I'll play when I get back. But my account's banned. And he's like, well, you can just buy a level 80 character for, $40 or whatever it is, and then we can play together. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And he said, yeah, you kind of have to do it because nobody plays at those lower levels. Like the servers are packed, but everybody's at this point, the game is so old, there's no like noob characters. And so that to me made sense. I was like, okay,
Right.
you know, if I can't play with anybody, then of course I'm going to pay the extra money so I can at least play with people. And then that is the new starting level because the game is so old. But I see the difference. Destiny's not an old game, and I'm sure there's still players at those levels.
Right, and Destiny's not an old game, but also the way the Destiny map system works, you know, quite often I would go off to do a daily bounty, and a level 3 would wander past my top level character.
Right.
Because they have a very different mapping system.
Right. It's not the same as
So
you go to totally different maps.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It annoys me on some level because it put a dollar value on all the days of my life I've put into this game.
Yeah.
You know,
it's frustrating.
You know, I don't know. It just something about it rubbed me really wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and this is also coming off the back of the fact that Bungie, you know, for a long time said, "Oh, we aren't going to charge you for anything but cosmetic changes. You know, you'll never feel an obligation to buy anything." And true, you don't have to buy another character.
Right.
But this is definitely not just a cosmetic purchase.
No, yeah, it's just it was what were you guys saying? Pay to win or what?
Yeah, so
in some regards, yeah.
So what's next? Oh, okay, now you've got this great character. Oh, you know, you all didn't react so badly to that, so maybe we should start selling you guns.
Yeah, that's when that's the worst when games start going down that road.
Yeah, because then it begins to feel too much like free to play mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I found it a little irksome.
I probably within the last month or so, I booted up Ultima Online again just for fun to see what it's like, and that's a game from I think like 1995 for people who haven't. It was one of my favorite MMORPGs, and the economy now in that game, which is talk about irksome and sad and all these things, it's like millions of dollars to buy like super simple things. So like as an old account holder, I think my account's like 10 years old or something. I think I might have had at the time like $1 million gold in my bank. I was like an advanced player, super wealthy, and that now buys like nothing. Like people are billionaires. And it's just so funny to see like how a game changes. And if you step away, I mean, so you basically have to buy gold in that game if you want to do anything now. That's how screwed up the economy is. But
yeah, it is super annoying. Todd, I'm going to ask you a very odd question. Are you able to select questions or only am I?
That's a good question.
Well, tell you what, I'm going to leave you with a question real quick because I've got UPS walking in the door. I will be right back. But real quick from Brazen
Sean
Franco,
warned me.
From Brazen Franco, Todd, what have you returned in the last 3 weeks?
I haven't returned anything. I do have to return something. I bought glass. These are my actual glasses, but I bought a pair of glasses on Amazon that are supposed to help with the glare from my computer because I was getting headaches from sitting here all day. And I was like, oh, that's great. And then I thought, well, if I'm getting headaches, I should probably actually go to a doctor. So I went to a lens crafters, and it turns out I actually needed glasses. So I have to return those. But something else I bought, and I was really afraid that I was going to have to return soon. I still kind of am, but is the A6000, Sony's mirrorless camera. And I was just down in Savannah, Georgia, taking pictures with it, and I love it so far. But I'm super afraid that a new upgrade, hey, Sean's back, that a new upgrade is going to come soon, and I don't want to return it because I already like this. But if there's a new, I'm talking about my A6000 camera. I really like it, but it's long in the tooth. An upgrade's probably coming soon, and I'm only kind of discovering that now after having bought it. So I don't want to return it, but I really like it. And
well,
I also said,
I have how long ago did you buy the camera?
What's that?
How long ago did you buy the camera?
Like within the last week, 2 weeks.
Todd.
Yeah. No, but I was like, I don't really care about the upgrade. It was on sale at Best Buy with like lenses and everything.
Okay. Well, yeah,
so
then that
like,
makes
oh sweet.
But I'm kind of the same way because like I had a Canon Rebel T3i, and then when John bought all new camera equipment, he gave me a good deal on a 60D.
Right. Oh, nice.
And yes, I know there's newer ones out. What are they really going to do for me?
Yeah, I still have a Nikon D3200 to my DSLR, but it's just bigger. And I've been looking at mirrorless cameras a lot. This is what we use, not with this lens. I think we have much more expensive lenses in the office, but for shooting our review photos and stuff like that. And I actually bought this. This is a Sigma lens, 19 millimeter. I bought on Amazon. I think it was like $200, and I used it for some review photos. And actually, I thought that came out really well. And it's not, $1,000 lens. So.
Yeah, well, you don't always need $1,000 lenses, thank goodness. Otherwise, we'd all be broke.
Yeah.
So moving on to other questions, and again, everyone, my apologies for having to step out like that. I warned Todd before we started recording the show. I was like, I know UPS is going to show up during the show.
You missed it though. I did return something. I was saying I had to get glasses, and I returned a pair I had bought that is just for like computer glare and weary eyes. They were like $13 on Amazon, but those they're going back. They're still in a box.
Oh, good Lord. From Jeff K, any opinions on the new Moto leaks? I think it's crazy early.
Yeah, that's another phone that's sort of still new. What was it, July?
Yeah.
But hey, if they're going metal, that seems cool. The back reminds me too. There's like the big camera thing, and I mean, it's not the entire camera. It's just the design, but it reminds me of some of the older Lumia phones. So who knows? Maybe it'll have a big camera module.
Yeah,
the pictures on the site if anybody wants to see it or hasn't seen it.
Yeah, the giant lens was a bit surprising.
Yeah, and I don't know. We don't know how legitimate it is. It's sort of one of those leaks. It could be nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Moving on from Brazen Franco, is Apple losing their design talent? Looking at the Magic Mouse, Apple Pencil, MacBook, and battery case, you have to wonder.
Yeah, I saw those, like the combo shot where it was like the pencil sticking out of the iPad Pro and the lightning cable going into the bottom of the Magic Mouse 2 or whatever it is, and then the battery case and just like all these things. You're like, I mean, some of it's almost like a joke.
I really would like to grab somebody from Apple and go, in what reality did you all think it was a great idea to put the charging port for the mouse on the bottom?
And I saw, though, Mashable, I think, had an interview with Tim Cook, and they were saying, I think they said, like, it's really hard, or I forget the words they used, to take a Mophie case on and off, which is not true. It's super easy. I mean, I think in the older models it might have been, but you just, like, pop the phone in and out. And so Apple's like thing is their convenient rubber shield that comes over the phone and attaches the battery case, and like that's actually like a cool design. And yeah, I guess so, but it looks more like a backpack or like a pregnant iPhone. I don't know.
Well, I still prefer carrying around portable battery packs.
Oh, so do I all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, then I can use them on anything.
Yeah.
Instead of using a case. I don't know. You really do have to wonder what's going on at Apple. And I never wanted to get to the point where we would be saying, Steve Jobs would have never approved this.
Yeah.
I think we're about there.
Some of the things you just got to wonder.
I cannot see Steve Jobs signing off on the battery pack.
Yeah.
I have a real hard time picturing that, but
well, to be fair, we can look at Samsung and their weird keyboard accessory thing that I think it launched. I just haven't seen it in person yet. Well, since the briefings. Remember when they announced the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus and the Note 5? They had like it's a keyboard that slides onto the bottom. It kind of takes up half the screen. That's a weird invention too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just to make fun of both of them evenly.
From Sachin Bahal, is this the last show of the year? If so, what do you expect to see at CES 2016? Because of the days the holidays fall on this year, this should not be the last show. So more than likely we will be back here for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll just skip CES week because ain't nobody got time for a podcast at CES.
Yeah. Yeah, this is. I thought you were saying the trade show, and I was like, "Oh, that's the first of the year."
No, right actually, when I first read the comment, I was like, "No, it's not the last show of the year."
Podcast,
yeah, but no, actually, there should still be podcasts for the next 2 weeks. So we will. That's why we did not choose CES predictions as the topic for this week.
Yeah, we'll have them later.
Yep, we will definitely have that for sure, because that's a staple of our podcasting year. From Brazen Franco, and this is one that's going to kill me if it's true. Yeah. Doesn't the rumored iPad, the iPad, doesn't the rumored iPad Air 3 feel like a pointless upgrade? No 3D touch and or pencil support.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to be really, really bummed if the iPad Air 3 shows up in March, since I just got an iPad Air 2 in October. Yeah, if it doesn't have 3D touch, that's going to be a big, big bummer. I mean, that seems kind of pointless. However, as we've been saying here doing this show, I've started to wonder about something. I wonder if that could be where they introduce Type-C into the iOS family.
Yeah, that would actually make sense. I haven't even thought of that. Because I think 3D touch, it must be expensive or something. I don't know, but there has to be a reason it wasn't included in like the iPad Pro, right? Like why?
Right.
It seems like a natural product to do it on. Same with USB-C actually on the iPad Pro. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, but I mean the iPad has been the launch pad in the past for new iPhone features. Right. So I'm wondering if the Air 3 could be where Type-C makes its first appearance.
Yeah, it seems plausible, but I don't know.
Pure speculation.
That is certainly not enough for me to upgrade, unless it's unless it's like fast charging. Because I gotta say, that's the most annoying thing with tablets these days. It's just they take forever to charge. Man, I was I don't use them as frequently as you do, but I was just on a trip to Savannah with my wife and brought a tablet along, and I was like charging my iPad Mini, and it's just like, oh man, like I'm just not used to waiting that long for anything to charge these days.
Oh, I know. I was so thankful on my flights to and from England for my vacation that I had charging ports.
Oh, yeah.
Because those long flights with a dead iPad is not fun. Moving on down the line. So we have a couple Star Wars questions. I wonder why. From such a
for you, Sean.
From Sachin Bahal, hey Sean, what is your order of the Star Wars movies, original and prequel, and are you going to watch the original trilogy before seeing The Force Awakens? Okay, my order is controversial.
You're not a New Hope fan, right? Or not? That's usually people's number one, isn't it?
No, actually, usually Empire is people's number one.
Oh, I thought it was a New Hope.
So my order does go A New Hope, because I'm sorry, if we don't have A New Hope, we don't have any of the rest of this. So my order goes A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and this is where it gets really controversial. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, then Return of the Jedi, Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace.
Wow.
Yeah, so a prequel makes it into the top 3. I know, I'm sure somebody's head just exploded. But while I had a lot of faults, I'm sorry, I still have a lot of problems with Ewoks.
Yeah.
The Ewoks annoy me so much. But as for where I think episode 7 will fall, I won't know until I see it. Although I've read every spoiler there is to be read. Oh, I read so many spoilers. Let's see here. Well, we're not going to read a question with that word in it. Folks, do try to keep your questions clean, please. This is a family show. I know it's surprising.
Yeah, my puppy's here.
Yeah, I'm just I said family show, and all of a sudden I just pictured, come on kids, the new TechnoBuffalo Show's here. Oh yay!
Everybody gather around the radio.
the big old radios from the 40s.
Speaking of non-family shows, I guess Howard Stern got a new 5-year contract with SiriusXM today.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, that he's about the only thing keeping SiriusXM going.
That's what I said in my post. I was like, most people I talk to are like, I have SiriusXM only for the Howard Stern show, and I felt bad writing that, but it's true.
But now here's the funny thing, though. We have SiriusXM in 2 of our cars. I don't think any of us have ever listened to Howard Stern. And this is my favorite time of the year because 40s on 4 becomes all Christmas music.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I listened to the Christmas music.
There's a 40s on 4. What is 40s music?
It's all the
World War II
big band swing,
Yeah.
type music.
Hmm.
Yeah, but during this time, and then there's 50s on 5, 60s on 6, 70s on 7.
Right. Yeah, I think it was usually at 90s on 9, but
Yep. From Sachin Bahal, what do you guys think of season passes for games? I think they're silly. The main reason being that a lot of times you're going to get the best deal if you buy it before you even have the game. So you're buying a complete pig in a poke. You have no clue what you're getting. And
it bothers me too.
If you end up buying the game and you end up hating it for whatever reason, hey, too bad. You've already given us your money for the season pass.
That's why, I've been enjoying Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, and I agree with everybody that says, it's kind of I don't want to use the word shallow, but it's not like a hardcore game, right? It's pretty basic. And I won't buy the season pass because I just can't. I have no idea what's coming. That's just so weird to me. I'll buy it later, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. From Brazen Franco, fed up with Destiny money grab, why not give Warframe a shot? I have not heard of Warframe. I will look into that.
Is that the free game on PS4? I don't remember. I thought so.
I will have to look into that, though. I'm obviously going to be looking for a new game since I'm not going to play Destiny anymore. I am really, really annoyed.
Play Battlefront.
From Jeff K. Howard Stern rules. Been listening since high school. Todd, you are amazing now because you weren't amazing before, Todd. You were just average.
I used to watch Howard Stern all the time on TV too.
You were just average, Todd. Now you're amazing.
Right.
I want you to start referring to yourself as Todd the Amazing.
Todd the Amazing guy.
Yeah, and especially at CES, I want to hear you introduce yourself as that at every meeting.
Get it on my business cards.
Yes, exactly. We'll get all new TechnoBuffalo business cards printed up for you, but let's see here. From Brazen Franco, with no word/rumor on new mobile SoC from Intel, can we expect a new Zen phone from ASUS this year?
I think so, but probably at Mobile World Congress. I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's still it's still going to happen. I can't see ASUS just going, oh well, we're at that. We're out.
Yeah.
I just.
There is a rumor on a new system on a chip from Intel, though, and I think it was the one that was pointing to the possibility of an x86 processor for a future Lumia. I thought, which would push ASUS into Windows 10 mobile territory, which doesn't seem out of the question, but that's the only rumor I've heard in regards to a new Intel chip for mobile. But that would be so cool because I think I've talked about this in previous shows, but I've always wanted Windows on a phone, like an actual version of Windows.
Yeah, that would be awesome. From Andre De Silva, do you think there will be a new Nexus 6P second gen at CES? Will it be released soon? No, I think it's way too early for a second gen 6P. And that's one thing for folks that aren't that familiar with CES. CES is not usually a phone heavy show because just a month later is Mobile World Congress in Spain.
Yeah, it used to be bigger for the US, but not anymore. I mean, it used to be a show where Sprint would say, hey, we're now carrying this LG, flip phone with a keyboard and a speaker on the back, and that was new. And for phones like that. And now as we the models changed, right? Where you have a Galaxy S6 that launches on all four major carriers and stuff like that. And so that's why Mobile World Congress these days is the bigger show.
Yeah.
In fact, carriers don't even have press conferences at CES anymore.
Well, T-Mobile had one last year, but it wasn't at CES, was it? It was.
Nope.
It was offsite.
I thought it overlapped with CTIA last year. In any case, T-Mobile did. Their first on-carrier actually was at CES a couple years ago.
No, T-Mobile and your craziness. From Dennis Langston, if HTC remade the original Evo with today's specs, QHD screen, 5.5-inch boom speakers, etc., would you buy it? Maybe. I mean, I like HTC devices. I think they have good workmanship.
Yeah, I'm only gonna say no because I'm not a huge Sprint fan, but an Evo is the Sprint branding. But if it had a Quad HD 5.5 inch display, I'd be on board.
Yeah, I forgot Evo was a Sprint only.
It's not that I'm like against Sprint. When I use the Surface, I'm not blown away by whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't have an opinion on carriers.
Well, I can. And having just left Sprint after 12 years. From Sachin Bahal, do you think Star Wars The Force Awakens will beat out all the box office records, including Jurassic World? Oh, boy.
I'd be surprised if it didn't, but I don't know anything about movies.
Jurassic World did 207 million opening weekend. Supposedly they've already pre-sold 100 million in tickets, but that is not necessarily just for the first 3 days. My gut feeling is yes, it will beat it, but you never know. And now I've heard people going, is this going to be the film that finally beats Avatar? I don't know. I mean, for any movie to get that high is insanity. Although I would love to see James Cameron finally knocked out of the #1 spot after 2 decades. Because remember, everyone, Titanic was #1 before Avatar. So
I was just going to say, wait a second.
No. I knew somebody had that question running through their head. Yeah, he took #1 with Titanic, and then he knocked himself out with Avatar.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so James Cameron currently controls the top 2 spots, and it'd be nice if his movies were actually good. Yes, I said it, folks. They used to be. They're not anymore. I thought Avatar was horrible. Yeah, I think it can take the top spot. #1 opening weekend. Can it be the overall #1? Only time's going to tell on that one. There was a lot of things working for him on that whole Avatar debacle. I really hated that movie.
I watched it. I didn't think much of it.
It was dances with wolves with blue cat people. That's all it was. Anyway, from Brazen Franco, do you think iOS is a limiting factor on the iPad Pro? I think iOS is a limiting factor on everything it runs on.
Yeah, I do. I think so. I think, coming from the Surface Pro 3 that I have next to me, I think that's a much better buy, just in regards to everything you can do with it. It's a full computer, and the iPad Pro is not. As much as Apple wants to say it is, it's not. Put OS 10 on it or something, but not with iOS. Not for my money, not for that price. It's crazy.
I think iPad Pro, I agree with you. I think iPad Pro would have been far more interesting if OS 10 had been on it.
Yeah. Even as an option, right? Like you could have iOS 9 for some things, when you don't need a computer, and then OS 10 is a dual booting operating system. I would buy that.
Yeah.
But that's coming. We could talk about the Pixel C too, which I haven't played with. I don't even know. Did we buy one?
I don't know if we did or not. I was tempted, but I was like, nah.
That's the thing. But there are like these reports that it was supposed to run like Chrome OS or like this sort of. Chrome OS is not that powerful. It's great, but it's not powerful. Like this modified Chrome Android, but then they just went with Android, and that would have been really exciting, at least for me.
Yeah, don't knock my Chrome OS.
No, I'm not at all. I think it's cool.
I know.
I think it's cool, but I don't know. I've been a huge fan of Surface.
Good question here from
red keyboard for.
Which one is that?
This is just the Surface Pro 3, but I bought the new keyboard, the Surface Pro 4 keyboard, which is so much better.
That was going to be my first question, because folks, you haven't lived till you've talked to Todd while he's trying to work on the Surface Pro 3 keyboard.
Yeah, that one's in my desk now, the old purple one. Oh, it drove me nuts. This one's I can actually use it. It's great.
That's awesome. That actually is awesome, because that other keyboard drove you insane. With good reason. It sucked. Yeah. From Brazen Franco, isn't the Apple Smart Battery case a proof that even Apple believes that the battery on their iPhones is too small? That's a really interesting question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they even, people were asking them that, and Tim Cook said, oh, well, it's great for things like hiking. When the battery runs out, right?
Because, that's always where my brain immediately goes, oh my God, is my battery going to last while I hike?
Yeah, it was a very California answer, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
In Missouri,
Anyway,
I'm in New Jersey. Like, where am I hiking?
yeah, exactly. You can view it that way, or you can view it as Apple said, you know what? While we don't think it, there are a lot of people that do, and they sell a lot of these cases, and why aren't we getting a piece of that pie?
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing.
Yeah, so that is a really tough question to answer, but I think you can definitely view it both ways.
I think it's an admission.
You think it's what? I'm sorry?
I think it is an admission that their battery is too small in the iPhone 6, whether they want to say it or not, but it is. And the other thing that's weird about this is they didn't even take in like all these design ideas that companies like Mophie have already done, where you have the pass-through charging, right, where your phone charges first, and or maybe this does do that, but just all these design changes, like the charge indicators on the inside of the case, not the outside, which makes no sense to me. And then
wait, what?
Yeah, it's like it's inside. It's in the computer. It's inside the case. It's not on the back like Mophie's is. That shows how much charge is left. But it does have like on the. I can show it. I don't know if it has.
So you have to take the case off to see how much charge it has.
Yeah. Well, no. There's software also.
Okay. Oh, thank God.
Like if you have an Apple Watch and you have it on the main screen here, you can pull it down. But then I want to say. It was something crazy like that pass-through charging where Mophie has it where you can charge your phone first and then that. But it's like, oh, no, it's that you can't turn the charge off, right? So you put your phone in this case and your phone starts going down to like 90% or whatever. It's still going to take battery from the case as opposed to just where Mophie you can turn it on and off, right? Like you let your phone die and then you charge it later in the day or something, which makes a lot more sense. So to me, it's those kind of things that are just stupid too. That Apple didn't include. Maybe they're patented. I don't know. But
Apple.
But yeah, so the answer is there are better options out there too. But people are going to go in the Apple store and just be like, "Oh, I should just buy the Apple case." And there you go.
Oh, Apple.
Yeah.
That thing launched while I was gone, so I didn't follow it 100%, and so I some of this I had missed out on. A lot of this makes no sense. It makes that case make even less sense.
Yeah.
Craziness.
It's weird.
Well, we've got enough time for one more question, and we'll take that from Shivam Somni. Do you think it's worth buying the Xperia Z5, which has a 4K display? I think the Xperia Z5 is a great phone, but do you really need a 4K display? There is a point where the display is just more than your eye can consume.
Yeah. Well, we addressed this I think we have the review on the site. We do have the review on the site, but we addressed it. The 4K display doesn't display 4K all the time. It turns itself on and off. So like in movies, if you have 4K content in a movie, then you can use it. And there's not a lot of that content. So it's kind of pointless right now. To me, it's more just a proof of concept, a bragging right. My phone's got a 4K display. I would not buy that phone for that reason.
Yeah, same here.
I'm not saying I would not buy that phone because it has that. I just wouldn't buy it solely for that.
Yeah. Me either. Well, folks, that is going to bring this week's episode to a close. And as always, we appreciate you joining us. You can find us on the iTunes store by searching for the TechnoBuffalo Show. And we do appreciate if you rate and review us. That does help out the show. You can also find us on Pocket Casts. You can subscribe via RSS feed. You can find us on the Stitcher app, which means you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Anywhere there are podcasts, you can find the TechnoBuffalo Show. Until next week, I'm Sean Ani. I'm the editor-in-chief of the site. I've been joined by Deputy Managing Editor Todd Hazelton.
Bye, everybody.
We'll see you all back here next week. Till then, take it easy. Bye-bye.